Okay, hello and welcome. This is Storytime with Uncle Punky. Or whatever my producer decides to deem it this week, I am Punky Dillinger. I will be your host. And I also have a co-host. This is my good friend, Roger.
Hello?
Roger, how do you say your last name?
Schultz.
Schultz. I always... Schultz? Schultz?
Just as long as you keep calling me, I don't care.
It's difficult. He is a good friend of mine and big in pop culture. You are an illustrator.
I'm an illustrator artist,
A little bit of your background.
graphic designer, toy guy
Toy guy.
collector, horror film buff fanatic.
So this is going to work out.
Oh, this might work.
We are
well,
going to
yeah.
foray. We are going to go forth.
We're going to go forth.
We're going to go forth.
We're going to boldly go.
Boldly into the world of pop culture. Various kinds of pop culture. There's many kinds of pop culture. We have the comic book. We have movies. Now there are cultures of My Little Ponies. You can be a fan of anything nostalgic is big coming back. I'd say that's probably more of the popular. As you can see behind me, collectible cars. There's remote control cars. Pop culture spans the globe in many different forms. Music is a big one, influential to me. I have former radio experience. Been in many terrible bands over the years, which is always flattering when you hear somebody say, "Weren't you in a terrible band in the 90s?"
You know it.
I was, and it was awful. Thank you for opening up those very, very old wounds, but still very, very fresh. We're going to cover, basic things that go on in life. Today is December 8th, and a lot of things happened. 1980, John Lennon was murdered by Mark David Chapman, one of the many three named assassins throughout history. Because I think in order to be an assassin, you have to have at least three names. John Lee Hooker.
He was killing it on stage every night.
He was killing it on stage every night. Never murdered an actual person, though, right?
No.
Okay, gotcha.
That we're aware of.
As of today.
Lee Harvey Oswald.
Lee Harvey Oswald. Yeah, see, I think it started with John Wilkes Booth as the most famous, and then you got Lee Harvey Oswald, and then Mark David Chapman. There was another one. We're gonna have to research this. We'll do a serial killer show. There are groups for that.
Yeah.
Today's world has actually things that were deemed as nerdy or
Weird.
You were a dork, or this guy he just sits home and reads comic books, or this guy he's got a collection of He-Man figures. He's 28. You know what I mean? It was classified as different for people. You were a little bit more of an outcast. I was a big fan of punk rock music growing up, and I had a giant Star Wars collection, as most, men my age, being my age. I'm not going to release that now because it's embarrassing enough being my age. But I had everything from the 70s. I had this great collection, this wealth of just, adventure and an imagination that I kept with me from when I was young until my mother sold it off to someone who gave it to a daycare or something, and
Now I was lucky enough. I still have a lot of my toys from the 70s.
And that's good. Those things are
Mego Planet of the Apes.
You can pay a mortgage if you sold half of a collection nowadays.
Not
But I'm even saying
I'm
three pieces of a collection to someone is really important to their collection. It's all this connectivity and this global thing. You know what I mean? And it's changed a lot over the years. As I said, it has many outlets like an octopus tentacles. They're just everywhere. Science has become a lot more popular nowadays. 2010, the second launch of SpaceX Falcon 9 and the first launch of the SpaceX Dragon. This is all Tesla-based stuff, right? I believe. It's the first private company to successfully launch, orbit, and recover a spacecraft. That's big news. Did you see the Mars rover, the 360 video that's been going around on the internet? That's amazing.
Yeah, Mars is now a planet entirely populated by robots.
Yeah.
Cybertron.
Yeah. Starscream. I literally watched that for like 20 minutes. I just looked at this. It's just a panoramic photo, like a 360, but it was just so. I know it's a different planet, but it looks like it could be like just desert here,
right?
During a sandstorm or whatever. It's just absolutely amazing. And the science is just fascinating.
Which is fascinating that most movies and sci-fi are filmed on Earth, but they look like someplace else because there's
Right.
so many similarities.
There are a lot of similarities until we find that one that actually matches ours, because
And we don't want to go there.
we done fucked up ours. Yeah. As I mentioned, music was also a big one. 2013, Metallica performed a show in Antarctica, the first band to perform on all 7 continents. I was a huge fan. Not so much anymore. I mean, I give them appreciation and respect because it was a huge part of my youth. Stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Still a great band. Put on a great show.
They do put on a great show. I've seen them twice in my lifetime, and but still, Antarctica. How many?
Well,
How
I
could
don't
you
want to
even-
step outside in December. I'm not going to Antarctica.
How could you
for a
even
concert.
play in that? I mean, my fingers hurt just watching those guys play guitar. You know what I mean? I can't. I'm like, I couldn't even imagine like subarctic temperatures.
Add frostbite to that.
Add frostbite to that. 2004, Dimebag Darrell, of course, from the band Pantera, was gunned down at a nightclub by a gentleman who did not have 3 names in his title, only 2. But we still haven't established if it's just after the fact
I
that
think it's
they're
after the fact.
established as a 3-named assassin. Well, again, we'll get into that another time. 2016, John Glenn, American astronaut and senator, first American to go into orbit, which is terrifying to me. I have a natural fear of water. My mom took me to see Jaws 3 in 3D when I was like 5. Kind of scarred me for a little bit. I know that has nothing to do with space, but it kind of does, because space, I can think of it as like the ocean. If I'm out in the middle of the ocean floating on my back, it's vast, it's dark, I don't know what's under me, around me. I guess it would just build a natural fear.
Yeah.
You know, space, vast, open, I don't know what's near me,
oh,
around
so
you.
I'm
You don't know what your direction is.
No.
You know what I mean? There's no up or down. There's no north or south. I mean, I'm assuming
There's
maybe
center,
there's.
that's about it.
Yeah.
I don't even know what is that in that environment? I mean, how are you? That my head and my heart wouldn't be able to take that.
That's
So
another show. I'll
Well,
bet.
and then we throw
It
in
is.
space sharks.
Space sharks.
Yeah, and you're
Is
done.
that Sharknado
You are
7?
done.
Sharks in space.
Sharks. And
Yeah.
space, yeah.
We're going to tackle a lot of things, obviously. A lot of things that apply to us, and you know what you enjoy in life. I mean, granted, we're going to try and do this for other people, so maybe they can be informed and they can enjoy things in life. Today, we mentioned we're going to talk about cars. Cars of a smaller caliber. We have and I want to say an expert. I'm going to say we have an expert
Say it.
on Hot Wheels cars with us today. Sir, mystery guest, will you come out and introduce yourself?
I'm here on this lovely couch and enjoying your company. My name is Tim, and 30 plus years experience with collecting and procurement of Hot Wheels and Hot Wheel
Hot Wheels
paraphernalia.
memorabilia.
Yes, memorabilia.
Nice, man. I'm glad you could join us. Okay. You have been collecting for how long?
Oh, easily, I'd say 30 years actively collecting.
Okay.
So that puts a little bit of age on me.
You say actively, like inactively would be just random
Just
gifts
being a-
throughout
Yeah, just being
your
a
life
kid
as a child.
consuming,
And, right.
a child
Okay.
consuming things, as opposed to going, you know
What-
what, I really want to. I want to keep this. I want to enjoy this later.
When you were little, did you get more of a love for cars, or like did you want to like be a mechanic, or did you want to be like?
Well,
you know-
when Mom drives a '72 Dodge Charger
Okay.
and a '71 Duster, and Dad has a.
You're a car guy.
I'm a car guy.
Okay,
through
nice.
Anything from wrenching on real ones to collecting pint-sized ones.
Okay, that's exciting. So then, smaller replicas were right in your wheelhouse, and of course, it just carried on with you.
Yeah,
Okay.
fascination and love of just transportation. My grandfather worked for General Motors, so
Okay.
just
It's a family
love-
thing.
It is a family thing. It
So
really is.
it makes you. It's more kind of like a comfort collecting.
Sure.
I
sure.
kind of consider that a thing, a comfort collecting, where I'm big on. I like collecting things that are comic book related. I was big on Spider-Man growing up. That was one of my mainstays, my favorites. So that's it's comfortable for me when I find something cool of Spider-Man that's not part of my collection or I haven't seen, or maybe nostalgia from the '70s when I was little.
Vintage TV series.
Vintage-
Loved it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, even that weird Japanese one that's surfing around the internet.
Love
The
that.
one, the
Love
'70s
that
one
one.
from Japan.
I
Have
haven't
you
seen
seen it?
that one.
It's fantastic.
All
All
right.
right. We're getting off topic. Spider-Man, they gave him a spider car
Yes, they
in
did.
that one. What did they have a replica of that? For
They
the
yes,
Hot Wheels?
actually, Hot Wheels have done multiple Spider-Man superhero,
The spider helicopter.
Spider helicopter. Yep,
Nice.
The Spider car. There's actually a different name for it, but I can't remember it offhand.
The spider mobile.
The spider. I think that's
A
the
necro
spider
car.
car.
Spider
Right.
wheel.
Anything. It was spider and something.
Yeah,
It's like movies that have to do with space. It's a quantum or quantum something. That makes it physics and science. Oh, that's a quantum coaster. What does that mean? It's a coaster that goes from your table in space. Yeah, it's an infinite
You
loop.
put your drink on that coaster.
Right. Hot Wheels has a big history.
Huge.
I mean, they date back to 60s,
68.
starting up to 68.
Yep.
And they, one of the first companies, Tonka, I guess. You
have many others that started before them, but as far as grabbing a hold of even children's attention, as far as vibrant colors, crazy stylings, Hot Wheels was probably the first to really grab the attention with 1968 with the original Sweet 16 coming out.
Okay. Created by Elliot Handler.
Yep,
was the first guy. They did custom Camaros. You could get Dodge, Chevy. They got actual blueprints.
Yes, they actually got some of the blueprints
that they had based all their vehicles on, so they could get these little replicas. But we talked a little bit before we started doing this. Hot Wheels and Matchbox, kind of two different things. They are the same thing, but they're different. I mean, obviously,
I think that was actually a tagline at some point.
that's what they did to push them.
The
same but different. That way, kids weren't really mad when they got one or the other. It's like a GoBot. I got a GoBot.
Yeah, not a Transformer, but yeah,
it's close enough.
Yeah,
it's Christmas. I'm not going to be mad about it.
Grandma got me this great Matchbox. I love Hot Wheels, but all right, thanks, Grandma.
And what boy hasn't laid on the floor and just pushed the cars around, or had a orange Hot Wheels track that you could whack across your sister's backside from time to time too.
I haven't done that, but I'm sure it's...
Hot Wheels tracks were
you
could do anything
deadly,
with those.
like in the 70s.
They became other things, yeah.
Even you and your friends, you're like, oh look, they're swords, swack. Oh my God, no, they're not. This is the worst feeling ever. If you did something wrong, and your mom gets hold of one. Forget it.
You're done.
You are now going to be a saint of a child. I tell you that. But Matchbox leaned more towards actual replicas, only smaller.
Yes.
Hot Wheels would be more exaggerated?
Definitely exaggerated.
Characteristics, I guess.
Yeah, big stance wheels, larger wheels, engines sticking out of the hood, stuff that wouldn't have come from the manufacturer.
Unless it was some guy in his garage.
Exactly, and that's where it took the turn. Is customizers, hot rodders are starting to have children.
Okay.
And so now Johnny down the block has got an El Camino that's jacked up and
right.
Huffer.
It inspired a lot of kids.
It did. And
honestly,
I think it inspired the
most
next
rednecks.
Yeehaw. Yeah.
Any man with a tiny penis. They've been interjected into the world of modifying their vehicles thanks to Hot Wheels. Good job, guys. And now a lot of licensing nowadays. I mean, they've done licensing probably throughout the years, right?
Yes, you had to do licensing because especially actually where Matchbox was doing dead-on replicas, they had to get more licensing. And where Hot Wheels didn't... There was, up until the 80s, you started to getting more heavily into licensing because all the cars were exaggerated.
Probably smarter marketing that way.
Yes.
Generate more income towards your company. You put out more cars, supply and demand and whatnot. So that's good. That's smart. I mean, but nowadays, it's, you can market and you can put anything, any company, anything could go as far as licensing for a Hot Wheels car.
Weird fact, as far as going down the licensing avenue, they put out the Bugatti. They actually made a couple, 3-4 years ago, put out the Bugatti, had it all done, multiple colors, different variations, and Bugatti actually cut the license.
Why?
Different, I'm not sure as the details, but they went from this being the hottest car you could find to they couldn't produce it anymore.
Wow.
They were only given so many years of license or use of it before they cut it off. So actually, there's still guys today that are paying for what would have been $1 car are paying hundreds for
just because
a
it's
Hot
just
Wheel.
Wow. And that's most collection. I mean, there's people out there. I saw if you have a Donatello Ninja Turtle action figure dressed in like the trench coat, like the detective one.
Yeah, detective.
That thing, even out of box, goes for like $800 or something like that, just because it's rare.
Dang it.
I guess there was only so many of them, and the kids didn't want them, and then they just weren't.
Well, there were probably a lot, but you couldn't recognize them.
Right.
Yeah,
it's like,
was in
is this a
disguise.
It was in disguise.
Is this a Donatello?
How do you know you got it?
I don't know, man. I don't think so. He's got a hat on, so immediately he's not a turtle.
We got some Inspector Gadget pieces. Let's take a break to Donatello.
Yeah, exactly.
Hot Wheels inspired a variety of other companies.
Oh.
I mean, nowadays, it's not just Hot Wheels and Matchbox.
Nope. Johnny Lightning,
Johnny Lightning.
And
That's one I see it a lot. I
Yes.
mean, before Toys R Us went under, Johnny Lightnings, I saw a lot of those.
Johnny Lightning.
Then they were doing
Actually-
replicas of just straight cars?
Johnny
or-
Lightning was even actually took Hot Wheels' idea and took it even a step further.
Okay.
So highly exaggerated, imaginative, creative cars.
Okay.
So they were building their complete own designs, and actually now where Johnny Lightning has gone back to more authentic looking bodies,
Right.
Hot Wheels has taken that future or imaginative
Right,
car again and is
Lot sharper aerodynamics and...
winged things
Right.
that most collectors.
I still like the play sets. Do you collect the play sets?
I do not currently collect the playsets.
Okay. Yeah, I had a couple of them where you could attach the I mean, you could make...
Oh, I have road plates. Don't get me wrong.
Right. But I meant like nowadays in your adulthood.
Yeah, I currently do not have any playsets.
Okay. I know a guy, he wanted to build like the biggest track. He had a spare room. And he's like, I want to attach all these little accessory units with the orange track and just build this massive thing. With like they got the booster ones.
Yeah, the booster.
That sends them through. Oh, that's
Yeah, you give them a wing real quick, throw the fingers in,
Right.
initial speed, inertia, and
Right.
then all of a sudden it hits that little monster.
I remember
shoots
being little
across
and
the
you
room.
first you're like, I gotta stick my finger in there. You know,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
The thing is spinning, you're like, I gotta know if I'm gonna
that's
know
the
if
thought that runs through your head when you're little.
it runs in my head now, I guess.
I think, that
What's
curiosity carries out through
Yeah,
life.
it does.
I'll stick my finger.
But you're like, I'm gonna lose my finger. My mom's gonna be pissed. This is gonna be the worst. You're like,
Well,
it's like foam.
It's at that point
Yeah.
you talk
Yeah.
talk your friend into sticking their
Yeah,
finger in it.
you're like,
Yeah, you
I
don't-
tell you what, I'll give you $1 and my
can have this
Spider-Man
car.
137. All right, man, I'll do it. Okay, you got me. Lost my train of thought. Johnny Lightning. We also have
M2,
M2.
green light.
Okay,
So those are
Greenlight had someone. We talked a little bit
Yep.
before. They had something cool.
licensed cars. They actually
Licensed
have
cars.
more pop culture cars.
Okay.
As far as television show, movie,
Okay.
and
See, that's-
Hot Wheels is dabbling in that too. I think
Yeah.
pretty much if there's a dollar to be made, they're putting it on.
See,
a car.
nostalgia purposes, I go for that. But like you said, like replica cars of like movies and other stuff.
yeah.
That's more my wheelhouse. Just because growing up, movies and comic books and all that stuff. I like more licensed stuff. I don't know. It's more relatable to my collection.
Well, even let me just grab Ghost Rider here.
Yeah.
So you got Ghost Rider, so it's a double collectible. It's instantly
Okay.
something that a comic book guy would be drawn to.
Sure.
Hot Wheel guy, even a van guy. So you got
Yeah,
a
that's
triple
true.
collectible.
Nice.
That
It's got sweet art. It's the
got-
old school
it's got
Johnny Blaze.
sweet art.
It's an awesome old school Johnny Blaze. And we had that on the back. I complained about this earlier. You don't have to zoom. This is just they have the different vehicles for the licensed characters. An El Camino for Iron Fist, which I can't even wrap my head around. How you related a 1980 El Camino to Iron Fist. Even culturally, if you're going that route. It
what would
makes
be
us,
the ultimate superhero for an El Camino?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, we're gonna dive into that one again. But the Chevy panel was Ghost Riders,
Sure.
which you can
makes
imagine them bursting out of the back of this
Sure.
thing,
Yeah, on the bike.
flaming bike,
Yeah.
all crazy. A 66 Dodge A100 for Hawkeye, very sharp, sleek, cool mural on the side.
Yeah.
I think that's
It
what
looks like a
sells it the
70s
most.
shaggin' van.
A Combat Medic. It looks like an ice cream truck for Black Widow. That makes no sense. And Doctor Strange is in a weird motorhome, which I fully support. Actually,
Yeah.
you brought one
Yeah.
for our producer, which that thing is actually. Oh, here it is up here.
Yes.
Which I
Doctor
think
Strange.
they choose those vehicles because there's more surface area
Yes.
Yeah.
to put the
Yep.
graphic on. And
That's it.
there's no rhyme or reason.
But with today's printing and stuff like that, how are you not able to print it on a smaller image and still be visible? As an illustrator, there's ways
And to keep it at a price
Well,
point, though.
and even as somebody you do
Trying to think
customs,
of
and
it.
you do
Yes, I
customs.
actually do customs.
I mean, there's guys who probably do take the time to do the artwork.
They'll
on
actually
some,
print out water slide stencils.
Really?
There's a Redline shop online.
Okay.
There's a couple other sources on eBay. You can actually get pre-made stencils. You can put them on your
Oh, that's
custom.
kind of cool.
Either replicas
I do like
of the original Hot Wheels stuff or
Yeah.
mod stuff.
But there's some guy in his basement, moms or otherwise, just with a
Yeah,
paintbrush. just-
yeah.
He's getting a
with
yeah.
their little eye, with a little eye blade. It's just, oh gosh,
he's
I got to put the dials on the radio.
he's like painting a wolf.
He's putting his favorite channel on
Yeah.
the radio.
Yeah, exactly.
He's got like a Franzetta
Now-
mural on the side.
Hot Wheels, though, were kind of late in the game with licensing with pop culture properties like TV shows and movies.
Yes,
correct?
actually,
Yeah.
Corgi, I think, would have been one of the first to really harness television licensing.
Yeah, they had the Batmobile.
Batmobile.
And We talked about
Kojak.
Kojak.
Gosh.
Starsky and Hutch.
Starsky Hutch, yep. They had to start to the Torino.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a long line there with Corgi, with television, and
Who had the general?
generally that was Ertl.
Ertl.
If anyone like took the money and run, it was Ertl. Came in late in the game. Corgi was taking the bigger stuff, the comic stuff, and even
Ertl had two really weird properties. They had Dukes of Hazzard. Ertl also had Star Trek.
Oh.
They did an Enterprise and a Klingon
Yes.
battle
And a Klingon-
cruiser.
Yes. Yeah.
How randomly strange is that?
I remember having I guess it was just a die cast. I had an Enterprise and I had a Klingon warship.
Those were Ertl.
Were they really?
Yeah.
yeah, for your
See,
it
I-
would have been Ertl.
Yeah.
And now Hot Wheels actually has the licensing for most of that stuff.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's insane to me. And they went through a couple different eras too. You know, I mean, as they changed throughout the years. We were reading about the Black Walls era
Blackwall.
because what
Yep.
they had red
Red line.
Red
Red
Line up
Lines.
until 76, 77.
Black Walls.
Blackwall 77
Through
through
88.
all the way actually into the 90s on
Really?
some of them, yes.
Okay.
So
Well, I even saw that they said like through the 80s they even did the economy cars like Dodge Omnis.
in the early
Which
80s, it
was one of my
late-
first cars, Dodge Omni. I had that long hatchback Dodge Omni. Oh, that thing was just that was.
I have an
priceless to me.
024, a silver one. It was black bottom. I actually own a Hot Wheel of the.
Oh my god, it got me through a lot. Got me through a lot in high school.
Well, then to make the tires even more confusing, there was the black walls, the red lines, but then the hubcaps were changing. There were different styles of the hubcaps.
Yes,
as well,
during
right?
Blackwall era, you saw the largest variations of hubs. I do have some in the cases, but as opposed to us fumbling and fiddling through.
You can see some of the old school.
Yeah,
ones
actually,
here in the case. They were a little different.
Yeah, these are hot ones. They're actually a gold 5-disc, kind of look like a mag. Then you got the traditional Blackwall that was a Kreger-esque wheel.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you can. That black Camaro up on top is a Hot Ones wheel.
We're doing this all wrong here.
Yeah.
There we go. We have those.
Yes.
I'll Vanna White it for
Right,
you.
right.
Yeah, there's some Blackwall. There's some Mage Red in there.
We're not looking at these ones.
Yeah.
He said hide those ones.
Yeah, hide those ones.
You didn't see that.
Yeah. The Hot Wheels does not represent the
No,
half
well-
that case. So
We'll edit it out later.
Yeah.
It'll be great. And then, of course, we touched base on Matchbox. Hot
did.
Wheels and Matchbox, they weren't even really competing at the time.
Well-
Do you think kids noticed a difference?
kids definitely noticed the
Okay.
difference in the sales of Hot Wheels in 68, 69. The first couple years took off. I know Matchbox felt it, and actually Matchbox ended up ultimately becoming a Mattel property.
Wow. Okay.
So much like Corgi in the early 90s, Corgi we talked about as far as Starsky Hutch Batmobile. Actually, Corgi got bought out by Hot Wheels. Some of their castings, the original Corgi castings, became Hot Wheels.
Okay.
I have some of those in package. And then later on, when Lesno, which was Matchbox, started to falter, yeah,
Wow.
big old hammerhead Hot Wheels came in and bought out the lot.
Wow. It's like when I can't even think of what it was. I had a good analogy going for a minute there. We're gonna have to edit that part out.
They got Disney.
They got Disney. Yeah, they got Disney.
Yeah,
They got
yeah.
I guess honestly that would be a good way of
The
saying
Sky Sharks came down and just
Space Sharks.
Space Sharks.
it. Sure. And
Bring
you
it
do
full circle here.
you go to a lot of. Do you take any of your custom stuff out with you too? That you do when you go out to the shows?
I
Expos,
actually
and,
went to the show this morning, so and actually those were some of these finds.
fresh off the boat.
Fresh. See, actually, I have a couple customs with me, so
Okay,
and
yeah.
I do my own. I
He does.
And
He does.
I do does.
Dig Dug. That's a whole.
Yeah, I was
that's
gonna
a whole
say
nother
Dig Dug.
show.
I think that was a Dig Dug coaster. But.
It's very very similar to.
16-bit.
So
Nice.
that is hold it from the side pipes.
Yep, that's what I was
Because
trying
actually
to-
that one's
that's what I
in
was-
process. I gotta
Okay.
still do the windshield, but actually I left that one apart so we could actually show what it kind of takes.
Awesome.
So here's one I just did. This actually I did this in a week.
Wow.
In between, just boredom. That's my hobby. I love this stuff.
No, it's-
Ultimately, this white one, this beater little white one, was what I found and what I started with the purple one. Paint's all original 70s,
Wow.
gnarly,
Yeah.
wheels flopping.
Yeah.
So
It doesn't roll straight.
it doesn't roll. It doesn't.
It
Yeah.
still has sand from
gotta
every
wa-
time it's been in the sand.
Yeah, exactly. It's still got a little kitty poo stuck in there from the sandbox. So
You played in weird sandboxes, apparently.
city kid. So
Okay.
you do what you got to do.
Right.
Little
Make
Rock
your own
Sandbox,
sand.
same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. With customizing, most customizers will drill out the rivets in the bottom
Okay.
so they can actually remove the body,
Yep.
paint it.
Not a lot going on in there. That's
There's
it.
really not a lot going
Yeah.
on. Some of them are far more detailed, and actually, I might pop apart the other one.
Okay.
But here's the interior and windshield for the van,
Wow.
and then access to the axles, which would be ground. There's little tabs that hold them in.
Oh, okay.
They get ground out, and actually, these are not glued in or cemented in right now.
Sure.
Because I'm still kind of playing with
Process.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That's,
But
that's so
otherwise,
simple.
it's
That's gorgeous,
display purpose at this point. You can
And
put
you
it
got
on
red lines?
red lines. This has red line, real rubber tires, real riders.
Anytime I see somebody with high wheels, hey,
Hey.
what do you got? What kind of tires you got on there?
Yeah, what
Wanna
kind
get
of
some
tires?
red lines?
What kind of lines you sporting?
We'll do some car. Go kick the tire. Go kick his hot wheel.
Yeah, that thing's legit. That's got real rubber.
Yeah, I know what that is, bad boy.
So, and actually,
You
this
said
last,
it had actual rubber?
yeah, that's real rubber.
Nice. That's why I thought they were more of the plastic. I always remember there's more.
Yeah, actually, your baseline Hot Wheel will have a hard plastic wheel.
Oh,
In your pop culture cars,
Mm-hmm.
customizers will buy the pop culture cars to rob the rubber wheels out of.
what?
So some of us actually have stacks of the pop culture cars.
Okay, just so
with
you got
just no
backup.
wheels.
Which is
Backup tires.
which is dedication, because I know the pop culture ones are a much higher price point.
Anywhere from $3 to $5 a piece.
So,
for-
so you're paying $5
To
to get the
resurrect
wheels for a 99-cent car.
to resurrect a 50-cent van that I found. Yeah,
Brilliant. That's
'Cause I
perfect.
like- 'cause I like the casting more.
America.
So
Yeah.
America.
That's what America is.
So even this guy, this is the Super Chrome. This actually came out, this paint job, this last quarter of the year.
Okay.
So through the year, they'll actually drop different variations.
Okay.
So this is last quarter 15, or last quarter 18. I'm going to the time machine. Quite literally, that green guy in there is what you see up here.
Oh, wow.
So, complete paint color change, wheel swap, another red line
Okay.
that I stole out of a very expensive car. Actually, these tires were donated from a 30th anniversary, which was 1998
Oh.
car.
How'd
New in the package.
How'd you feel about it?
I didn't care because I wanted the wheels for this.
There was no party. It was
It was-
like,
No,
I shouldn't.
No. There's some things that just need to be sacrificed.
Right. Right. That's what
That's
helps.
a whole nother show.
That
Things
is.
that need to be sacrificed.
Human sacrifices. Well, this is a nice collection, and you got a show coming up. You're going to be out at people.
Actually, there's quite a bunch of different shows going on.
Okay.
With this going into the holiday season, it's going to slow down a little bit.
Sure.
Actually, one of the big toy shows in Michigan, the Toyorama, March 1st to the 3rd at
Cobo Center.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's going to be,
3 full days.
yes, it's going to be insane.
Largest toy show in Michigan.
Yep, over 150.
I'm sold.
Guess where we're going to be.
That's right up.
Yeah.
That's right up our alley.
Yeah.
So that's something we'll do. If you want to stick around, we're gonna chit
Yeah.
chat some more. We're gonna do another segment. I tell you what, we'll take a few minutes, musical interlude. We'll come back. We'll do our other segment. We're gonna keep the car talk
Yeah.
going.
get-
Favorite car as far as pop culture.
Oh gosh, Smokey and the Bandit Trans Am.
Oh, that's a good car. I'm going to go with
I'm thinking you took mine.
the Monsters coach.
I'm a
Go to the
Ghostbuster. I
Dragon.
love
That's
the
pretty
Hearst.
sweet.
The Ghostbusters, the original
Echo
Ghostbusters,
One.
the Echo
Echo
One.
One.
That's where my heart's at. Pop culture. All right, we'll do that in a second. have returned after a short hiatus. Very short, as you can tell by the music. We don't want to punish you too much. Punky Dillinger, Roger,
Tim.
everybody else. You can't see them. It's behind the scenes. All right. We've been talking about cars. We've turned it into a car show from a certain point of view. Ooh. Thanks to Obi-Wan for that line. I'm going to use it often and frequently. Yeah, if at all possible. And we're going to continue on with our car theme, as it would be. Our car show. With some of the most iconic vehicles that have lasted throughout pop culture. And there's a lot of them that stick to mind. We went to a website, visually.com, I believe. I got to check with the producer on this one. Yes, visually.com. They have a list of some of the 100 most iconic cars, ships, land speeders, dinosaurs. It doesn't matter. Pop culture. If you could ride it,
Yeah, you ride it.
it's a vehicle.
There.
I mean, there was an accessory for it if there was a toy. Dino Riders.
Yep.
You could ride dinosaurs at one point in your life.
Strap a saddle on and roll.
Right. We'll start with number one. We'll get all the big famous ones out of the way. There's a few that'll probably go, oh, man. Oh, what? Yeah. Oh, that one. First and foremost, they got listed on here is the Mystery Machine.
Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo and the Mystery Machine. Which, of course, as children, you grew up with it. My kids grew up with it. My kids could recognize it anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
And it is timely because I'm coming out of the late 60s.
Yeah.
That van culture really started to
Oh,
boom right
yeah.
then.
It was
Yeah, and
huge.
it's coming huge again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with the sweet paint job that it had on it, and the floral print, and the
Psychedelic.
it was very 70s. It was a
Yeah.
groovy van, man.
There was no drug
Very
use in the Mystery
groovy.
Machine. Nope.
Right.
Nope.
No.
Second
No,
one they
no one
listed.
could go through that many Scooby snacks, not
Yeah.
the munchies.
Munchies and no
Maybe.
other indications.
Maybe. Number two, they have a Bond car,
Yeah.
Yeah, the DB5.
DB5,
Yep.
which we found out your child actually knows a lot about,
Quite a
which
bit,
is surprising, but that's still very cool.
No, not surprising.
Well, not surprising for your family, but the fact that, a kid his age actually has a lot of information about a DB5. That's kudos, man. Coming in number three, Turtle Van.
Turtle Van.
Turtle Van was one of the cooler accessories that I had gotten when I was purchasing Ninja Turtles.
You pretty much it was the thing to have.
It threw pizzas.
Now,
Yeah.
did that spawn out of the toy line, the cartoon, or the comics?
I'd say cartoon.
Most of their stuff all came out of the cartoon because
Yeah.
it was easily
Because
marketable.
especially at that time in the late 80s,
Yeah,
a lot
the
of
movie-
vehicles spawned out of the toy line.
I
They
think
got
the movie
introduced
did
into
have a
things
couple
later.
weird ones. Like the newer one had a weird version of the Turtle Van.
Yeah.
That whatever that sequel to the Michael Bay nonsense
Yeah.
that came out.
The
That's
live
another-
action.
The live action show. Yeah. Call it what you will.
Yeah.
Number four is the Muppmobile. Dumb and Dumber, which is it's one of my favorite comedies because Jim Carrey's just ridiculous, and so is Jeff. I wanted to say Bridges. That's not right.
No.
It's what? It's not Jeff Bridges. Jeff Daniels.
Daniels.
Holy cow! That was a terrible pop culture fart in my brain.
More iconic for me for Dumb and Dumber is the mini bike.
Yeah. That's right. The little moped that they took to Aspen.
Yes.
Samson. Swami. Number five is the Groo-mobile. Groo-mobile? I don't think it had a title. Despicable Me.
Yeah, Despicable Me.
They listed the Groo-mobile, which was a massive vehicle with one oddly shaped man. Number six, I'm not horribly familiar with. Oh yeah, I am. What am I saying? Grease Lightning from Grease.
Yeah.
Which my 13-year-old daughter loves that musical, and I remember all the songs. I have it.
Thank God she doesn't like Grease 2.
Grease 2, yeah.
Grease 2, the horror.
I mean, yeah.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Not a sequel better than the original.
Michelle Pfeiffer was
Michelle
fantastic.
Pfeiffer, Grease 2. Okay.
Yeah, she did great. Well, of course, she was Catwoman as well. I mean,
Yeah.
she could pull off that
Yes.
that little sassy lady role.
That's another show.
Number seven is the Wienermobile, Oscar Mayer Wienermobile, and that is I've encountered it 3 to 4 times in my life. I've been inside the Wienermobile.
In a weird one because that's out of real life and not fictitious.
Yes, but still
It's
a
pop
mainstay
culture,
of pop culture
But
about
it's a
processed
non-fictitious
meats,
vehicle.
processed meats in a tube.
Probably the most iconic product placement
Yeah.
vehicle.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
That shit. Kids went nuts for it.
Yeah.
Because you got a weenie
Whistle.
You got a weenie whistle.
Yep.
Yep. And they were so harsh and loud. And if your kids got hold of
The
them,
Screecher.
yeah, from doing various radio events, it showed up at some, and I got to ride in it to one location, which is so comfortable. It is
Is it?
so nice. I mean, it's luxurious inside. I mean, it's big.
But if you get the right people in the Wienermobile, it's ironic because it would still be a big wiener filled with assholes. Yeah.
Strangely appropriate. Speaking of filled with assholes, the Milano from the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, jeez.
Nice segue. Oh.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was
Thank
nice.
you.
That
I am
was
a
nice.
professional. Number 9. That one took me a minute, but it was from the Canyonero SUV
Oh,
from The Simpsons. Yep. You've been looking at that thing for 20 years? I think they got that late in one of the late seasons. Well, no, because they got the Canyonero late in the season, so I think that was still not as iconic as that pink 4-door.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to classify that.
Smashed up family car.
It's almost like an old Chevy, or those old Ford cop cars, those Chevy cop cars.
LTD?
Yeah, LTD.
LTD,
Something like that.
Prius.
It's like a very pink LTD. All right, Kit from Knight Rider.
That's a top pop culture car right there.
Is it one of your top 5, top 10s?
I wasn't a huge Knight Rider fan at the time, but
I was.
God
It was
knows
cool.
I know it.
Yeah.
God
Man,
knows I probably watched
Michael
most of the
Knight.
episodes.
He had a car that
Perm and a leather jacket and a Trans Am. Are you kidding? That's 80s. 80s.
that's
Permanent
more,
leather jacket.
Yeah, perm
Yeah.
leather jacket.
Perm. He's the only one man who could pull it off in any lifetime. Number 11, the DeLorean. Many facets. It was a car. It was a train. It was a hover car
Cocaine transportation device.
I would say
for
cocaine.
Christopher Lloyd.
Yep.
No, maybe.
Maybe.
The Enterprise. Not shocking. It's
All
one of the most.
all of the Enterprises.
All of the. That is probably the most. The original Enterprise probably the most
Yeah.
iconic. As far as I'm not a big Doctor Who and Star Trek. I really don't know that much,
Okay.
honestly. So if we
That
actually
definitely looks more like Enterprise DA.
That's
Enterprise
from Next
D.
Gen.
Yep.
okay, what was the first one? Was the Enterprise? What number was that?
It's
C.
NCC 1701, and then
This guy.
A into Star Trek 3.
I'm a Star Wars guy, but we're still friends. It's weird.
Yeah, well-
Yeah, it shouldn't be. You guys, you reminded me that what they had for 13 was the Ford Falcon.
Yeah.
I didn't recognize the paint job.
No.
That's what got me. They have it with,
MFP.
and they have it with the yellow, the red, the white, and blue stripes on it. It looks very Australian when you see it.
It
like
is.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you guys get a chance, make sure you check out this website. It's well worth seeing these
And
pictures.
the funny thing is, I think Mad Max's car from Road Warrior is probably more recognizable
Yeah.
to the masses because Road Warrior or Mad Max was such an Australian hit.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But that is definitely a more iconic
Yeah.
looking car. It's bright.
Yeah, it stands out.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. One thing that stands the test of time is family. The Griswold family. The family truckster.
Family truck-
Heck yeah.
It held a 38-foot tree on top of it. It made it across the country a few times.
It jumped in the desert.
That is
Yeah.
in my top 5.
Dead grandma's on top.
I grew up on that movie. It is
That poor little
hands down-
dog
the
kept
poor
up with you for
dog
about
got
a
dragged
mile.
down. I mean, it was the true star of the films. Let's be
Oh, yeah.
honest. 24 is the ever-loving land speeder. Didn't break any land speed records. Popular only on the planet of Tatooine, I think.
Yep.
Maybe Luke built that. I don't know. I can't keep up with the franchise.
Yeah, wasn't
anymore.
it ideally that it was made by Luke of pieces and parts?
I think so, but I don't. I think that wasn't the only one you see.
But
I know
this-
with all the new stuff, and
Yeah.
it's really hard.
But I'll give Lucas
dirty.
this. I love his idea of a used universe. Nothing looked brand new like Star Trek.
Sure.
And the fact that it was like missing a shield on the one
Yeah.
engine. It
Right.
was it had
Right.
dents. It had
Right.
pieces
Yeah,
of parts.
battle
that had
damage.
primer
See,
on it.
yeah.
My biggest problem
that.
with the prequels is everything looks so new and shiny and
Yeah,
this and that.
sure.
And none of that is connected to the ships and the stuff that's in any of the other films. I mean, all those ships are like in sync and just different kind of styles of the same ships. There's none of that. You can't recognize any of that in the prequels, and that just burns my brain. This is on here, number 25, for I guess reasons. It's Fast and Furious.
I'd say it's not the most iconic.
It's a '94 Toyota Mark IV Supra RZ.
Real life, it's a badass car, but I'd say
Yeah.
it's not the
It doesn't stand out to me amongst number 26, the Batmobile.
from the animated series.
The animated series
series.
Batmobile, which touched a lot of people. I mean, there's a lot of documentaries
There,
about
there
that.
are a lot
and
of
there's-
Batmobiles, and they all have a special place to somebody.
Yeah, absolutely. The Keaton one, that was my
Keaton.
first one, the turbine engine
wow.
on the yeah, right. And then was it Schumacher? Really?
Yeah. The Adam West Batmobile.
The Adam West Batmobile. Yep, the
Yeah,
two-seater
one
with the
side
weird police light. Oh, that was like
Beacon. Yeah.
that was like a DeSoto, or it was like a freaking Studebaker or something like that. That he was driving.
It was actually a Lincoln design, and it was altered to make the Batmobile.
But it wasn't even. But I'm talking about like in the 40s when they did the cereals.
Oh yeah,
The Batman
yes,
cereals.
yes.
That was just like some tan sedan they had on the lot. It wasn't even. They didn't even paint it black.
Right.
There was no fins. There was none of that stuff. They're just like,
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
your Batmobile. Batman's driving it. It's a Batmobile. That's what you get. Number 27 on their list is it's from
That would be
Talladega Nights.
Yeah.
The Ballad of Ricky Bobby. That was his dad's car,
Yep.
and the one that he had the Cougar in.
Yep.
They had to ride it with him.
Karen the Cougar.
Karen the Cougar, which you can find on IMDb, I'm pretty sure. The movie Good Burger shows up on this list at 28. The AMC Pacer
Yeah, that's a rebuy.
That's
that
a
had
weird
a
one.
hamburger on it.
That's a
That's
weird
about all I know about that movie. Is it revolved around a burger joint, and it had Keenan and Kel in it.
And
That's-
I'm going
yeah,
to jump
that's-
ahead a little bit. It's weird, ironic. On this list, there are 2 Pacers.
There are 2 Pacers.
Yeah.
Don't spoil it. I'm
I'm not
sure
gonna spoil
if
it.
anybody watches this, if you know us and you're a nerd,
AMC is okay.
AMC is iconic for-
Another nerd factor. AMC is strong in this list because AMC in itself is a nerd-tastic.
oh yeah,
Engine. Yeah.
it really is for even like
Yeah.
car people and
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
like that. My wife, she used to be a mechanic, and she's really big on cars. And we talk about we had a good conversation about AMC not too long ago. We talked to a few people about it. It just comes up in conversation, 29 is from Minority Report, which was an alright movie for what it was when it came out. Tom Cruise doing his thing. 30,
The Black Pearl.
The Black Pearl, famous for Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
That's about it. It was a cool
Yeah.
looking ship. I mean,
Anyway,
It's the best place
I-
to store rum.
best place to store rum.
I
I would
love
hate
those
to
movies.
work for that boat. It would be enjoyable probably to go on the boat for a little while. Maybe
Not for months at a
museum
time.
boat, not for months at a time.
I never wanted to be a seaman.
The Avengers, there's a 2015 Acura concept car for Tony Stark Industries Enterprises. It's all right. I mean, I think the Iron Man suit
I think the
itself-
Iron Man suit should be there as
Yeah.
opposed to that car.
Well, we're right, because that's
Or the
technically...
Cobra that they land on.
Or right, the one that comes
Oh.
out of the Comic-Con
Yeah.
from the Superhero Museum.
Cobra.
Hall of Justice
Which the
down
Cobra,
there.
which is a iconic
And that was
car,
a real
period.
that was a real bodied car. That was an
Yeah.
aluminum body.
Yeah,
Turned into a car for a while.
right. Like Turbo Kid?
Turbo Team.
Yeah.
Turbo Teen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Said Turbo Kid. That's a different movie. Turbo Teen. Good call. 32 is Yoshi. Mario would ride him all day. It's just
Unlike the princess.
unlike
Next,
the princess.
please.
She's always in another castle.
she was always in someone
doing
else's
something
castle.
else. Yeah, she's a busy lady.
Left with you riding Yoshi.
I got confused with 33. It took me a second.
The Deathmobile.
The
from Animal
Deathmobile
House.
from Animal House.
Yeah.
I'm so dumb. It's
Love
just
that.
it's a tank. it's a part Batmobile,
Yeah.
part tank. It's got a little bit of everything for everyone. Every college kid aspired to build one.
I would
or do
drive that
have
around
one.
in Grand Rapids right now.
Just because
yeah.
I have to
Yeah.
go to Meyer.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to
Well,
go and
actually,
jump
on
it.
Black Friday, that's the perfect car to have.
Right.
yeah, if
Really.
you showed up
Yeah.
Oh, no.
that or a
I gotta
hearse,
go.
you're gonna
Yeah, you're
get to
good.
the front line.
34 is Christine from Christine.
Christine.
Christine from Christine.
Stephen
Stephen
King.
King's evil possessed car. Amazing. I still love that movie. And the car was still beautiful no matter how many people it ran over.
Cool side note.
Mm-hmm.
My son Logan and I did a horror convention in Chicago, Days
Okay.
of the Dead, and we judged the costume contest, and a girl actually showed up costumed as Christine. She had a 1950s red dress with tail lights,
What?
and her necklace was actually the
We had-
hood ornament. I mean, it was
We
very
talked
cool.
before the show about people and their passion for cosplay. It could be anything.
I'm kind of in lust at this moment.
Yeah,
to,
he's like,
to
do you
think,
have a phone
to think
number?
outside of
Yeah.
the box to dress as a car
Yeah.
in human form was so cool.
Well, it's somebody.
Turbo Teen.
Yeah, right. Why hasn't somebody done this
Yes.
yet? Somebody did one of Tom Servo, Mr. Science Theater, where she had like a little red dress that matched his little hover skirt.
Kind of
thing.
like
Oh,
Whovians
sweet.
always
Brilliant. Yeah.
dress as the TARDIS.
Yeah, brilliant. The Batmobile, number 7. I don't know.
Tumbler.
The Tumbler.
Tumbler.
Yeah.
Tumbler was cool to see. I'm not a huge fan of Christian Bale. I don't know why. I don't think
I am Batman. Duh.
that was a little over the top. I mean, it's a great movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great movies.
I
I'm not dogging
I
it.
wouldn't be. I wouldn't want to be
However-
upset with him because I've heard he's a little rough on crew.
Everyone. Yeah. 36 was confusing to me.
Oh,
and we
that's-
discussed the Metal Gear Ray from Metal Gear series. That's one of them. I think there's another one that makes this list.
Yeah. there's a lot
After
of-
the first 2 Metal Gears, I kind of fell off. I did the one that came out on PlayStation. I
Yeah.
remember that I think it was just Metal Gear Solid
Yeah,
or whatever.
Solid.
Yeah, and that was a slice of fantastic.
I'm happy to see this next one.
Are you?
Yeah.
Are you a big fan of the Orca?
The Orca.
Which
Oh
is
no!
from
Jaws.
Jaws.
Yeah.
Gonna need a bigger boat, but instead he took the Orca.
Can't swim.
He can't swim. 18 men went into the water. 16 men came out of the water.
He's got dead eyes, doll's eyes.
Doll's eyes. Who was the movie? Oh my God, Master of Disguise with Dana Carvey.
Okay.
His little impression when he's trying to get away from the bad guys. He's like sitting in this little riverboat. He's like, it's spot on. If you haven't seen it, it's awful.
It's been a
Go
while.
watch
No,
it.
if I remember it was pretty.
It is funny.
There was good points.
James Brolin's in it.
Yeah.
Dana Carvey, a few other people. It's still it's worth checking.
Recommend it. Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely recommend it.
Oh,
Excellent
you
fighter.
need to turn your card in.
Sorry,
You're done.
Forces of the Dark Side are behind me. And it's messing with my brain. An X-wing fighter
X-wing.
because it looks like a giant X. Just brilliant thinking on their parts, which is uber iconic. I mean, I like it. I lean more towards Smuggler than Jedi. I don't have the midi-chlorian count. It's just
Okay.
how it is. You understand. You can't fault me for that. Number 39 is a Gran Torino from the movie The Big Lebowski,
Yeah.
which, I mean, it's iconic,
It's okay.
but what I mainly remember is, like, Donnie and
Donnie's
And
a
bowling
more
balls.
iconic
and
vehicle.
bowling balls and, yeah, I mean...
Not quite
Damn
as
it,
iconic
Right.
as our next
Bathrobes, a rug. I mean, there's elements I remember. Not so much the
Not
car.
the-
It was a nice car.
It was a giant shit box.
One of my favorites. This is it was, and this is in my top 5 of pop culture cars. Is the A-Team van.
Yeah.
I grew up watching the A-Team. I actually like the new A-Team movie that came
Yeah,
out.
the movie was.
I
Good.
dug it.
Yeah.
But, typical 80s television thinking, though, because if you're going to be an underground paranormal or paramilitary organization, you
Right.
want to stay under the radar. Big black van with a red racing stripe.
Souped
Right.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
And then
your
later-
incognito car.
Later, Face ended up with a white Corvette with the red stripe.
Yep.
So
That was
So,
Face's
yeah,
car.
incognito.
yeah, that was Face's car.
I had the figures. I had the action figures from the A-Team. I had the van that they could all sit in, and I wanted Face's car so bad. I had to have it. All right, one of the cars from
Cars.
Pixar's Cars. Yeah. Fire McMissile. That's from the second one.
And strangely enough, of the most iconic cars from whatever particular thing, it's not Lightning McQueen.
Right.
You would think. Yeah.
Or Mater?
Or Mater.
A Mater. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know who compiled this. Mario Kart. Another Mario vehicle. Mario Kart is coming in at number 42, which, interesting enough, when we get going farther down the road in our show, guests who come on, we're gonna throw down some Mario Kart.
That'd be
Maybe some
awesome.
old school Nintendo. I think we're gonna challenge them as they interview. We're gonna throw them a little off their game. We're gonna have fun with our guests.
If we go back to old school Atari, we play some asteroids. I'm down.
We have
I'm
ways,
in.
means, and methods. I actually have a box in my trunk of various video gaming gear of olden times. Not to show my age by any means.
Someone whips out a Commodore.
Commodore 64. The Ford
Whipping out your
Explorer.
Commodore sounds so bad.
The Ford Explorer at
Kinda sounds-
43
Yeah.
is from Jurassic Park. Iconic vehicle. It shows up in a few of the movies, actually. In Lost World, it showed
Yeah.
up there where the kids souped one up, drove it out of there. Sorry if I spoiled it.
I believe that was like the debut of the Explorer.
That was the debut
Yes,
of
it
the
was
Explorer.
and it was
Good
on
call.
a rail. And
Yeah,
it-
the rail system.
Yeah.
The Jeeps were allowed to power themselves, but the
Right.
Explorers were not.
And we have the iconic Jeep, of course, from Jurassic Park, makes its way around town.
Yep.
Yes,
I think there's one in town.
Yes, there is.
And then the various events, the little geek flea market, the nerd
Well,
flea market and
it's
stuff.
such an easy vehicle to modify to be like because
Oh,
it's,
yeah.
it's very stock factory
Yeah,
vehicle
yeah.
in the movie.
It's just paint job.
just graphics.
Yeah, graphics and paint job, which is brilliant. Number 44 is pretty dope. This is we talked about it earlier
Yeah, that
already. Is the Mad Max,
Yeah.
the Falcon, which is just it's just dynamite. It looks so mean. It's so dirty. It's so
so beat up.
apocalyptic.
It's so dirty.
It's just like you want to just roll that thing through traffic and watch people just go, oh jeez, no, I'm not dealing with any of this today.
I want to hit the switch so the supercharger comes on.
Right,
Because
right.
for
And
a
the
car guy,
turbine
that's-
engine
yeah.
that's just sitting out of the top. For some reason, there's something called Bushi at number 45. Boshi? It looks like Yoshi, only blue with a backwards hat.
That is another game.
It looks like a 90s Yoshi. You know what I mean? If
Yeah.
the 1990s decided to throw up on Yoshi, it would be number
it's so
45.
Bushi.
If
Bushi. Is that where these teenagers got the
Maybe,
term?
yeah.
We need a teenager.
if
Teenager.
Spuds McKenzie and
Oh,
the
teenagers.
gang had a baby,
That would be awful. All right, we have the what is that from? Number 46. It's a Ford coupe. American Graffiti. I'm sorry.
Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford.
He drove
Again.
the 55 Chevy in that movie.
Yep.
What was the movie that Mark Hamill was in?
Corvette
Corvette
Summer.
Summer. Thank you.
Corvette Summer.
Holy cow! I was
Car
just thinking
guy.
that-
Which featured what kind of car was that again?
No, that was
Corvette?
it was a
Yeah.
Corvette
It was a summer
Stingray.
about.
Well, then
It was a summer of Corvettes, I think.
and then I can't remember her name, but she drove Vanessa. I have a van thing, so
Nothing wrong with that, man. 47 is from the movie League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Oh,
The Nautilus.
The Nautilus.
Which wasn't half bad. I mean,
I think
Sean Connery was in it.
I think the Disney Nautilus is far more iconic
Oh,
than League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
absolutely. I mean, that one was really cool, and I did dig that movie. And it's too bad Sean Connery
Went out
didn't
on that.
do more. Yeah, exactly.
That was his
yeah.
end. His final.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could have been more to that. Number 48, the Tron Cycle.
Cool.
Tron cycles
So
were
cool.
so cool. You just grab a bar and you destroy other past rides.
It's returned in the the second movie.
Forgiven
yeah,
reboot.
yeah,
That's actually a Forgiven reboot.
really.
I
Yeah,
wouldn't,
you
I wouldn't
think
even
so?
say reboot because it doesn't start over. It's just continuing
Okay, continue
Yeah.
the story as far as
30 years later.
Yeah. I guess we could show our age with this one. The Monkey Mobile.
Monkey Mobile, another Bears creation.
Yes,
Was it?
it is a it is
Oh.
a Barris. Yeah.
Excellent. Oh yeah, I guess. Oh yeah. I
If,
didn't know that.
60s and 70s, if there was a modified car, it was a Bears.
Okay.
Music
I had
was all of the Monkees' music done by Neil Diamond.
No.
not all of it.
Not all of it.
No,
A
they
large
did
portion
write.
of it.
Just
There
a
was a
handful
large
of
chunk.
songs.
They
Okay.
did write a lot of stuff.
Okay.
I had a lot of their vinyl growing up. My mom would watch that show and I would watch it.
Thankfully enough, Nickelodeon actually brought it back on when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So I could
When I
watch
was in,
it.
when
Yeah,
I was in
the
college,
reruns of
MTV brought it back for a while.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Oh, that would be kind of neat.
So, how weird would this be? The Monkees are on tour.
Right.
And they're
Two of them are.
And they're opening. No, I mean originally, like one of their first.
Oh no, I'm
Yeah,
talking
two of
like
them still
right
are.
now.
Yeah,
Two
yeah.
of them are.
Yeah.
I just
So
heard
one
about
of-
the
one
other
of their
Fucking,
first tours.
The
Mickey
other one.
Dolenz is dead.
Yeah, one of their first tours
Hmm.
was this unknown act that was American but came out of England. So Jimi Hendrix opened up for the
Yes.
Monkees.
That's
Yes,
weird.
he did.
Could you imagine being a
Those are-
12-year-old girl going to see the Monkees and having Hendrix open
Wow.
up?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You're like, I don't know what to do
I
with
don't
myself
get
right
this.
now. What is happening? A number 50 is iconic. I guess around a variety of generations.
Yeah,
I have
sure.
children, many of them.
Well, if you live in a pineapple,
If you live in a pineapple under the sea, you own a boat to drive around. It's SpongeBob's boatmobile.
Boatmobile.
I'm pretty sure. And unfortunately, a creator just passed recently,
Yes.
which was it's pretty sad. I mean, a lot of kids that grew up with that, but I think he has a good, strong people who were doing the show
To continue the legacy.
that
Well,
hopefully
keep
will
it in
continue
its
a
20
legacy.
years.
That's a
And
lot,
it's Simpsons,
And-
30 years.
right? That's surprising.
And they're still making
Yeah.
new content.
And original ideas, and still having fun with their characters, which is just that's fantastic to me. Of course,
I saw
Very-
one a little bit ahead, and I'm excited about it.
51. Okay,
Yeah, let's
you're
get
excited about one. 51. I'm excited about because I thought I was a cool teenager in the 80s. You know what I mean? I
Oh,
wanted to
yeah.
run off with my friends to Chicago. I wanted to steal my buddy's car, the Ferrari.
Yeah.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yeah.
I mean, it sticks in your brain.
Let's put this thing on jack stands and put it in reverse, and let's. What's
This
the
is gonna
logic
fix
in
it.
there?
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
going to turn it back so my dad doesn't notice. Oh, shit. Yeah, no
Yeah.
kidding. What'd you
Yeah.
think was going to happen?
Well, first, my big question though: who puts their garage elevated higher than everything around it and makes it out of glass?
It's
A
architecture.
millionaire
It
that
was
owns
very...
a convertible
It was
Ferrari.
modern art
Eh.
at the time. Number 52, I don't know how I'd feel about getaway vehicles of this nature. I guess if you're in Italy, that's convenient for their size of streets. The Italian
Probably.
job.
Challenge up.
Winnie Coopers.
I-
Mini Coopers. Sorry.
I would ride some Winnie Coopers. Oh,
I
Well,
thought that.
anyone that
I thought
grew
that'd
up in
get
the
weird.
80s would.
Yeah.
yeah.
Said that to my wife the other day. She's like, "Did you say Winnie Coopers?" Yeah, I know what I said.
Yeah.
Number 53 is the convertible from the movie or the show Angel, spin-off of Buffy.
Yeah.
Which you rolled around in. It's a nice car. Angel was a
It was
spin-off.
okay.
I'm not big on spin-offs. I watched
It's no Firefly.
No, it's not Firefly. But see, that's more my cup of tea. Like I watched the original Buffy movie, which I thought was great back in the day. Luke Perry,
Paul Rubens, best death
Paul
scene
Rubens.
ever.
Oh my God.
Best death scene
Swanson?
ever. Swanson.
Christy
yeah.
Christy
Swanson.
Swanson. Yeah,
Oh.
and she was a big thing back in the day, and that one was great. And then the Spawn, I never really got in the series, and Angel I could care less about. Number 54.
Oh, love the show.
Held a whole family.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they lived in it for a while on their way
On it, through it. Yeah.
on their way out of their
Beverly.
on their way to Beverly, the Beverly Hillbillies. Y'all come back now,
Yeah.
Now,
preferably not in that truck full
I
of
don't remember the
junk.
specifics,
Right.
but the show was sponsored by, I think, Chrysler, but the
Mm.
chassis of the car was a Ford.
Ford. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. They
Okay.
couldn't make up their mind. 55. Oh yeah, baby. The
Oh,
the
Shagmobile.
Jaguar.
The Jaguar.
Jaguar.
Yeah.
The Jaguar. Austin Powers at number 55, which it was cool. Those movies still crack me up. I can go back and watch those.
I heard that he's actually talking about doing a new one.
He better, because
Really?
his last 4 or 5 attempts at film have
He's been
bombed
doing
really
some
bad.
serious stuff in Cat in the Hat. Have you watched The Cat in the Hat? Have you watched The Cat
I
in
have
the
not
Hat?
watched that. Can't
Experience that.
No, yeah?
Yeah.
Tell me how you feel.
I'm offended just by the idea of it now.
You know, Love
You
Guru
will be.
is another one. It's like
Love Guru. I loved the Love Guru. Are you
Yeah.
kidding
It
me?
was good.
That was
Oh.
funny. Justin Timberlake cracked me up in that. I don't know why.
I think that the supporting
Suddenly,
cast made it better. Instantly.
I could see that.
I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah, they
that
carried it.
makes more sense. 56, Darkwing Ducks, the Rat Catcher.
Yeah.
I don't know what a duckmobile or a duck motorcycle with a sidecar had to do with a rat catching. Was that one of his bad guys, maybe? He had a
Could
few of
be.
them,
It's-
but
it
that seems
sounded
too
good.
specific for a duck to be
He's
riding
so
around in.
dangerous.
He's so dangerous. There's a guy who cosplayed that at the Grand Rapids Comic Con. Did a wonderful job. Little Miss Sunshine. They got their VW on here. Again, we could just classify that with the other Volkswagen.
It's
Yeah.
another Volkswagen.
How many
combi
buses were
bus.
used in...
How many buses were used in movies? I mean, that's actually probably a good question. We should have researched that earlier. That'd been a fun fact for people. The 97 Chevy C2530 Silverado
Kill
Fleetside.
Bill?
Kill Bill
Pussy
Volume
Wagon.
1, the Pussy Wagon. Sorry for any
Yes.
children watching this. I didn't title it.
It's Tarantino's fault.
That's what it's called.
Yep.
That's what it's called. Quentin Tarantino is definitely to blame
He
for
really
that.
likes cats.
He really likes cats.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and,
he's...
and pickup trucks.
And pickup trucks. Yeah.
Those two are hands down. Rebel Without a Cause from 1943 gave us a nice Mercury coupe at number 59. I like Suicide Doors and I like the 58s. That's my style of car.
Yep.
I mean that rounded body style. It's just it's
I would
cool.
probably go Cobra from the 80s, Stallone. Same kind of...
Yeah,
Yeah,
That
good
was
call.
a good
Way
one.
more bad.
Yeah, I haven't
Yeah,
watched. That's a long
any
time
car.
ago.
We're going back to cars now. Any car with a door that opens different, like a Suicide or a
Yep.
Gullwing.
We got a video.
Always a cooler car.
We got a video game one at 60. It's Mass Effect. I didn't play too
I don't
much
recognize
of
it.
I don't. I don't know. I don't know why they consider that, but yeah, that was from Mass Effect 2. I don't even remember playing the first one. I'm sure I have. My personal favorite, Ecto 1, 61. That was one of the cooler ones. They did a good job with the sequel. I will give the ladies credit for that. They did a good job with the sequel. The Ecto 1 is a nice... It's cool, man. I mean...
and that
incredibly
siren.
And that siren,
Oh, siren.
that is the alarm that wakes me up every morning.
That siren's
Really?
awesome.
Every morning. That is my siren. My wife has the alarm from the Imperial Destroyer. Wow, wow. That's hers, and mine is the Ecto. We're strange people. Hers used to be the Godzilla,
Yeah.
which was terrifying as well. Number 62 is, I guess you could lump these all together, Transformers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Some of the most iconic cars in pop culture history because they turned into robots. At least for boys, I guess,
Yeah.
throughout the 80s mainly. I mean,
And
nowadays
and
it's-
all the Bumblebees were one of those few Transformers based on actual vehicles too.
yeah. Yeah, well, you heard about the new Bumblebee
The new
movie?
Bumblebee is going back to his
It's a
original
bug,
form as a
and
Beetle.
as are all the other characters.
Are
that
they?
They've
Yeah.
showed clips of Optimus Prime. He's got pipes on his shoulder, and he
Starscream
is
looks like a
Starscream looks like that.
F-18
F-18.
or 15.
It's
Oh.
probably loosely spoken. What was the other one?
I don't.
The other one. But they have Soundwave's got the cassettes that shoots out like Ravage and Rumble,
That's
and
Yes.
oh, it's glorious
I'm
times.
gonna buy that.
And it's not Michael Bay. So
kudos.
hallelujah. That really just saved everybody. We dodged a bullet. Thelma and Louise, 63.
All right.
That's iconic. That was a great movie. Two women drive a car right off the edge of a cliff.
It was iconic right up till the end.
Now it's iconic at the bottom of a canyon.
They set free the bird.
They did set free the bird. They,
Yeah, they
Yeah.
Yeah.
freed Brad Pitt.
Yeah, for anybody who hasn't seen Thelma and Louise in the past
We
20-something
we
years,
just ruined the end.
we ruined everything. in just one paragraph.
Bruce Willis was dead the whole movie.
Shaun of the Dead, the Jaguar, his dad's Jaguar that they had to get to the Winchester. Nobody? You guys aren't backing me on this?
It's a good car. I don't think it's like...
Shaun of the Dead's a great horror film.
It's a
That's
great
a great
movie.
zombie horror film.
Not denying that. But is that car iconic?
Because the tape deck and everything, and he's
don't
all like
remember.
doing the donuts and okay.
Oh,
All right. 65 for some reason. I guess it's a vehicle, a pop culture to kids 13 to 25. A Monkey Ball. Nintendo Monkey Ball. I wonder if Nintendo's sponsoring this in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah,
Because
they
number
seem to pop up quite a
66
bit.
that pops up on here appears to be the horse from Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time. The first one, he just walked around. That's it. He just walked. He didn't have a horse.
Now, if you're
There's
gonna,
like 40 walked around.
if you're gonna put a horse on the iconic vehicles
Right.
list, it would be Lone Ranger
Silver.
Silver.
Yes.
That would
I'd
be.
second that.
I can't think of
If you're
another
gonna put a horse on, it would
Mr.
be
Ed.
that. Mr.
Yeah,
Ed.
but
But nobody
no one
really
wrote.
rode Mr.
Yeah,
Ed.
no one wrote
Yeah,
Mr.
you don't want to
Ed.
ride something you can talk to.
I ride you
unless it's
over.
Kit.
Yeah.
Right. That's completely legible. All right, the 67 spawned a lot of movies. A lot of movies. Herbie.
And it made a lot of
Herbie the
little
Love
kids
Bug.
smile. Yeah.
Made a lot of little kids smile.
Yeah.
I've watched a few of them, except for the most recent one, Can Burn in Hell, thanks to Lindsay Lohan. It's just, and Justin Long was in that for some reason.
do you
Why did
really
you do this
feel
to
about
yourselves?
this?
It's, I have kids, and
How
I've
do
had to
you
watch
really
it
feel?
several times. The Blackjack, another one, is from Final Fantasy. Out of the 27 of them, who knows which one it is specifically. But that is another apparently iconic video game one. The Metal Slug, that goes back. That was an arcade at number 70. Or, sorry, number 69. 70, Akira bike.
Cool.
Very cool. That bike,
cool
it
bike.
pops up in Ready Player One. That
Yes.
latest movie. It
Oh,
pops
yeah.
Wait, what doesn't pop up?
What
Ready
doesn't?
Player One?
We've paused that
Everything
movie
pops
so
up
many
in that.
times trying to pinpoint things. My
Thank
wife
God
and
we
I.
had the
and
VHS era
and she's
everyone
mad
would wear that out.
because the Akira bike in Ready Player One has different stickers. It says Atari. It doesn't say. It's not the one that Tetsuo or whatever is driving around in. 71 is a 75 Lotus Esprit submersible.
James
Spy Who
Bond?
Loved Me. James Bond had some cool cars. They could climb
Yes.
mountains. They could go underwater. They could fly.
They could
Helicopter
eject the passenger.
mode. Eject passenger, which is a feature I'm really surprised hasn't showed up nowadays. That seems like that would have been a thing.
Cars on water, not uncommon. Cars underwater.
Right. All the time. Megas XLR from Megas XLR. I
That
don't
was
remember a lot
I
of that.
actually enjoyed that cartoon. That came
Did
out
you?
relatively recently.
Okay.
And yeah,
It's just a car that's a
car
robot?
guy
Okay.
and his buddy and a chick cruise around in his custom car, and it
Yeah.
happens to be a robot.
Sweet. All right.
That's in a
I
nutshell.
support that.
Yeah, you
All
gotta
right,
go.
I'm
online.
behind that one. 73 is Star Fox. I don't think it was called Star Fox. The actual name of it was the Airwing. Yeah, R-Wing, Airwing.
Arwing.
It's something along those nature. Either, regardless, Star Fox. A fox drove around in it and kind of resembles his face.
Yeah.
Oh, you said Fox.
Fox, yes sir. The Bone Wagon from Grim Fandango, which I don't think any of us were too familiar on the Grim Fandango. I don't remember
familiar.
a whole heck of a lot of it. Not like 78.
I like the name.
I do like the name.
I like the name, and apparently I want to check out that car more.
Right, and
Yeah.
this is actually helping us trying to get in touch with a few things. 78 is the Magic School Bus. Miss Frizzle
Huge
taught
resurgence
kids
again.
a lot of things, and that has also had a big resurgence. There is a new season with Kate McKinnon, who was on Saturday Night Live,
Really cool.
and some Ghostbusters. She does a voice of it.
There was
She's like Miss Frizzle's cousin, sister, niece,
niece, if I remember hearing that correctly.
some form of relation.
There was talk about the kids from the show actually becoming the
The
teens.
environmentalist
Yeah,
from
for
Captain Planet. That was
Oh,
yeah. There was a theory
I
going
didn't
around
guess
for
the
a little
theory.
while about that. Was just if you get a chance to see that theory or read about it, it's brilliant. Where was I?
79.
79, which is from Supernatural, which is very popular. It's got a big community of fans. The girls like the handsomeness of the boys who drive around in that badass car.
Yeah, their dad's
And
car.
the boys like the bad.
Yeah, and their dad.
The
Yeah,
fun-
the boys like the badass car. I mean, it's a '67 Impala.
Before that series came out, you could still buy one of them cars relatively cheap, especially being a four-door.
Right, but the
But now-
popularity
oh,
really
gosh,
boosted
yeah.
up.
You can't
Yeah.
touch that car anymore.
Well, the
Number
same thing happened with General Lee.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, you couldn't find a single one of those. Number 80 is from Thunderbirds. No, I'm sorry, F-Zero, right?
Yeah.
Number 80 is F-Zero, a blue racer from F-Zero, which was
F-Zero.
a popular game on Nintendo.
Yeah.
Again, it was no Wipeout XL, which was it was the PlayStation venture where they had like those space rockety looking cars that went on this. There's a group called Fluke that did the song Atom Bomb, this techno
Okay.
track that actually has like it was in Hackers. Were they playing the game in Hackers?
Oh, Hackers is a freaking
Yeah.
good
He's
one.
sitting there playing Wipeout.
Yeah.
That's one of the games he's playing. All right, I uber nerded out on that one. Yeah,
No,
Hackers.
You
was,
brought me. You were able to bring me back in because of Hackers.
Number 81 is Captain America's Chopper.
Oh.
The Captain America cycle, and I
Easy
think
Rider.
Red Brown. Oh yeah, that was Easy Rider. I was thinking
Such
like
good
Red Brown Captain America
Oh no.
that
No.
came out,
No.
No.
which
no.
was I mean he had one. It wasn't that Chopper
No.
from Easy
Easy
Rider.
Rider.
Still, I thought at first it was Evil Knievel.
Oh.
I was thinking Chopper Bunch.
You went old school cartoons.
Yeah.
I went Daredevil.
Yeah.
And
If it was gonna be Evil Knievel, it'd have to be the Rocket going over Snake Canyon.
oh my God.
Rocket fail. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. 82 Partridge Family.
I have a problem with this one.
Okay.
I have issues.
Okay.
The Partridge Family.
Yeah.
There were 5 of them.
Right.
They left all the seats in the bus and put their instruments on the roof.
So you think they could have
What a bunch of
condensed
idiots!
seats?
They could have taken seats out and put all the instruments inside.
Well, I don't think they had a budget to really, maybe they just had a bus and not the know-how or. I mean, they had nobody.
But they
to help
did
them.
a
Just-
wonderful job painting it.
They did.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
right.
They were obviously artists of
Yeah.
some form or another.
Not carpenters or nothing else.
Not technicians.
No.
Another video game one is a Chocobo from Final Fantasy. I know these ones because they showed up in Final Fantasy VII. And that was one of my favorite games growing up. I loved it. It was great. We discussed this one, 84. It's a Megazord. I wanted to say Voltron. I thought maybe they'd go car Voltrons. Because obviously this list is kind of skewed. I'm not trying to judge the people who did this list.
And
But it's
obviously,
wrong.
No, it's a
Lion
nice
Voltron
question.
is the best.
Lion Voltron,
Lion
Voltron's the best.
personally, hands down.
And,
I did
and
have a
still,
lot of the
they're
car
piloted,
ones.
so they are vehicles.
And they were really
Yes.
confusing to try to assemble that frickin' robot because there's so many damn ones. They're like, oh, they're color coded. Just do this. StarCraft, something called the Vulture, comes out in '85. I didn't do too much PC gaming and StarCraft stuff. That just wasn't my thing. I did a lot of video games, but not too many. Ferrari Testarossa at number 88 had an iconic theme song.
My
Had
advice.
sweet,
Nice.
relaxing wear that you could go out in and bust crimes.
It made
Specifically,
pastels. The
Like
palette.
pastels were the thing. Big, comfy, shoulder padded suits. No socks.
Deck shoes.
No socks though.
Yeah.
When you wear your deck shoes, you can't have socks. Show a little bit of ankle so people know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Those epic driving scenes.
And own a yacht and a crocodile.
Yeah.
So if anybody knows what we're talking about, Miami
Well-
Vice. If you don't know what that is, you need to look it up. For the theme
No.
song alone,
Croc-
we'll give you
He had to
everything.
have a crocodile.
Just
Yeah.
for the intro, with the theme song alone to
Jan
Miami
Hammer.
Vice,
Jan
Jan Hammer. He actually did.
Now the car from the first season
Yeah.
was a Ferrari Daytona
Daytona.
Spider,
Correct.
which I thought was a much cooler car.
Oh, incredible car, but the reason why they ended up switching it back or switching it to the white Testarossa, they had a hard time filming it at night
Okay.
because they were actually going to do a black Testarossa.
It wouldn't show.
It wouldn't show,
That makes sense.
so
Right.
they went cocaine white.
It was the 80s.
Yeah,
Do
it
a lot
was
of coke and vote for
Miami.
Ronald
Yeah,
Reagan.
it's Miami in the 80s.
That's
Yeah,
where it's at. All right, number 89, Starsky and Hutch. Very iconic for the paint job alone.
Like another car that if you're
Striped
going to be an
tomato.
undercover cop,
Yeah. Yeah. You don't want,
Let's,
if you want to
little-
go undercover, you don't want the
Have a
the
flat
drug
line car.
underlords to know what you're up to. You drug a pimpin' wagon. That's what you do in the 70s.
Yeah, throw a stripe on it. You're either A-Team or Starsky and Hutch.
Right.
it's the same stripe.
Yeah.
Another Metal Gear at number 90. I don't remember that one so much. 91, I remember every day of my life. A Batmobile. The original to us.
The 66.
Yes, the 66 Batmobile, which actually has showed up in a lot of the comics nowadays
Oh,
when they
gosh.
started doing the Batman 66
Sure.
comics.
Yeah.
Adam West,
The blue and gray.
he did the voice of him and Burt Ward. Came back and did a
Yes.
voice for that animated one against
Yes.
Two-Face and stuff, and that was great. They, of course, the car made an appearance on that one, and they did one. I think it was Brave and the Bold, one of the newer cartoons where they had that style, same
Yeah.
style of car, not
Because
specifically,
I
but
I believe I'd heard that Brave and the Bold was the unofficial continuation of the 66.
Of the 66, and it was, and it had a lot of hokey. Have you ever watched any of it?
No.
Got a lot of
It's really
hokiness to it. Yeah, it's got some cheeseball stuff
Well,
and some of like they
There's
really dig out
charm
like
to it, though.
There
like
is a little charm
Egghead
to it.
and stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. Gentleman Ghost, and you're like,
Red Bull
What are you
used to
doing?
a 45 car.
45 car?
45 car.
Okay,
With the
The face. In
face on
with
the
a
front.
face in the front. Nice. Yep.
Alright.
92. I don't know if I've heard of this one. It looks familiar. I don't know. You're wearing
What could you be talking about?
You mean the one you're wearing a picture of
What-
the hood on your shirt?
what could you-
You mean the one that goes eastbound and down?
Yeah.
Loaded up and trucking, man. That is a beautiful car.
Sally Field made a great seat cover.
Pontiac Trans Am,
Yep.
of course, Smokey and the Bandit, which spawned a sequel. He always tried to catch that
Spawn
some bitch, but never got a chance.
One's amazing, two's questionable, and three
3 is horrible.
is horrible.
Even Bert didn't show up for 3.
Correct.
No, no.
And Smokey and the Bandit's kind of like Jaws. One of those movies that if it's on, I can always watch it.
Yes.
Blues Brothers, same thing.
Yep.
Yep.
I'm gonna
It
stop.
doesn't matter how many times I've seen
Yeah.
it. I'll stop and watch it.
Breakfast Club is like the third for me on that.
Nice.
As far as,
Monty Python, we do that in our household.
yeah,
Like,
Monty
if-
Python, heck yeah.
If Holy Grail comes on or something, we're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna watch all of this. Like, wife sit there and repeat it the whole time.
It's done.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, whatever
I'm
you're
still gonna
doing.
enjoy this. 93 is kind of new to the list, I guess. It's been in comics for a while, but it is the Shield helicarrier. It's huge. The thing
enormous.
was when it first made its appearance in
It
those
was
movies.
basically a city.
It was basically just a giant aircraft carrier with big engines that just lifted to the sky. I mean,
And I just want to be. I'm thankful that it doesn't look anything like the original helicarrier in the comics,
right.
which was a flying disco ball.
Yep.
It was
Yeah.
just,
It looked like a little mini Death Star, except more sparkly. I guess it was just
and
weird.
it was
It's
shaped like an AMC Pacer.
Yeah, you're.
Sparkle
It's like
Death
you
Star.
are a militant operation. You're gonna go around in this. No, we're not gonna have it. I tell you what, go stick some jets on an aircraft carrier, and that's gonna be your base of operations now. 94 confused me for a moment. It's the Mean Machine from Wacky Racers, or 95. I'm sorry, no, 94 is the Mandarin from Metalocalypse,
Okay.
which is iconic.
Yeah.
Love metal music, love cartoons, compiled to both. Dynamite.
Yes.
Dynamite, and it's just so ridiculous and over the top, and it's just they hate each other, and it's beautiful, and their music is ridiculous. The Mean Machine is 95
Wacky
from Wacky
Racers.
Racers, of course, is Hanna-Barbera.
Which are a
Yes.
handful of iconic vehicles.
They really, I mean,
Which
the Flintstones
which
car.
Hot Wheels, I think, did a line.
Yes, they did.
Okay.
Yep, they did do a line. That
did they do a
Speed
Flintstones
Buggy,
car?
They did.
They
Yes,
did Speed Buggy.
They did
Really?
Speed Buggy, Flintstones car. I
Jetsons?
believe they did all the Wacky Racers. They did do Jetsons a
Okay.
couple years ago.
Scooby Doo. They brought us a lot of them.
Yeah,
And in '96,
Well, yeah.
Jetsons.
The
Yeah.
Jetsons.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's just like an iconic sound itself. Back to the Pacers at 97 is
Murphmobile.
It means a lot to me. The Murphmobile, which Dana Carvey drove in Wayne's World. If you haven't seen Wayne's World 1 or 2, it had the
Licorice
licorice rope dispenser. You just pull
And
it
in
down.
2, they stretched it to be a limo.
They stretched it to be a limo, which is welded other AMC parts onto it,
Yeah.
supposedly. We also have the Scout car. What's Scout car from?
Half-Life 2.
Half-Life 2. Again, I don't... some of these just, they don't belong. Well, maybe they belong. Maybe it's for newer... Maybe it was some millennial who made this list. I'm not putting you down, millennials. I'm just saying you got your priorities out of whack. Chrysler Imperial Crown at number 99, which
Yep.
we were talking.
Green
Excellent.
Hornet.
Green Hornet.
The
Black
nice
Beauty.
replica of that was made, and of course Bruce Lee as Kato back in the day.
The original, yep.
Come on, that's the ultimate badass driver you could have in your
Absolutely.
life. Did you watch the Seth Rogen?
I've seen pieces of it.
I've seen it. And Black Beauty holds up in that.
Black Beauty
Yes,
holds
Black
up.
Beauty holds up.
Black
saw-
Beauty's about the only damn thing that
I
holds up
saw
in that
Black
movie.
Beauty
No
live.
offense, Seth Rogen. I appreciate
No, he's
your-
got some great movies. and
I
he's
appreciate your
funny as
comedy.
heck, but,
Green Hornet
yeah.
wasn't for you.
No.
Number 100. I don't know why this is at the bottom, or if they. I don't know how they
Because
started
it's
the
maybe
list.
top.
We'll say it's the top.
You can't finish the list without saying
Yeah, the General Lee.
generally.
General.
Dodge Charger, 1969.
Yeah.
It is a mainstay of pop culture. It's been around in reruns. It goes to lots of car shows. There's a lot of people who still paint. I saw a Mini that was painted with the General Lee, the rebel flag, and the orange,
Yeah.
and I'm like, why would you do that to your car? Why would you do that to Winnie Cooper?
I saw the mini Wii
Okay.
which was a smart car with a .01 on the door.
That's
So-
adorable. That's
Now,
too much.
Did we miss on this list? Because
Well,
do you think that
are
we
there
may
a
have
few
missed
that
a
you
few?
think are missing? The Futurama ship,
both
the
of-
Millennium
yeah,
Falcon,
both of the cars from the Monsters.
the Slave One,
I thought
The
the
Dragula and
Munsters.
the
No,
Monsters
the Dragula
coach?
wasn't in there, and the Munsters coach.
Is it,
The
we
Monsters
missed
coach.
one.
Okay, then we did miss
Coach
it.
was
Yeah, we
in-
hopped the
Okay.
coach.
But Dragula wasn't.
Dragula wasn't.
Yeah.
And how can you have one without the other? But visually.com, if you want to go see their list, 100 iconic.
Visual.ly.
Visual.ly. Okay, well, I can't see the website from here, so we're just going to improvise and say visually.com.
It's on.
I know.
It's on
That's
there.
not. It's on the internet. Visual.ly. And go see their list. 100 iconic. You can probably find them anywhere on the internet, but we use theirs. So we wanted to give them credit for it because it is a good list. There are a few things missing. There's a few things we would tweak. But all in all, it is a good list. But there are a few things that, Millennium Falcon, near to my heart. It's. I had it when I was growing up, and that was the one toy. And he was the coolest character to fly at. And he had this big Yeti-looking creature for a sidekick. And I mean, it was cool.
And you've got several Mario Kart and Nintendo things. You know
Right.
what? TIE Fighters,
TIE Fighters, they're iconic too.
Yeah.
Little bow ties in the sky.
A-Wings, X-Wings, Y-Wings,
But
B-Wings.
see,
B-
when you right, see, we're digging into deeper nerd categories when
Right.
we go that far. Obviously, we're going to do a Star Wars show at some point too, because there's a few
Because
things I need to
it's
touch base on.
meant to
I don't
be.
know if this is going to get out to Lucas ever in any way, shape, or form, but there's some things he needs to know about his prequels. I'm just going to leave it at that. We're going to get to farther on in our shows. We're going to throw down some Mario Kart and some other old school racing games, I think.
Heck yeah.
We're going to dig through batches, and we're going to find some good stuff, and we're going to challenge guests, like our friend here. See if he's got what it takes to keep up, and if he's got the memory of the courses.
I'm a Hot Wheeler, so
They have Hot Wheels games.
yes, they do.
Next time you come out, maybe we'll
They-
try and...
They actually have a Dukes of Hazzard game too.
They don't. I remember that one briefly. You know what?
It's-
We got to
it's
check with our
rough.
friends. We got to go down to the Vidiots. You ever been to the Vidiots,
Vidiots.
in Grand
Yeah,
Rapids,
Vidiots,
Michigan?
Grand Rapids.
I remember a few years ago, early 2000s, Hot Wheels, you would buy cars that came with a disc that you could put
Yes.
in your computer.
You
and
can
would
put it in
have-
your Hot Wheel computer.
Yeah. And
They actually
you
sold
were the
that.
car in scale,
course
going
they
through the
did. Horrible.
backyard or going through the kitchen. And that was...
Yeah.
It was the point of view of like what you would do to your toy, and that was
Correct.
the coolest thing.
Yeah, I think
That was a
we'll,
cool
we'll get into
concept.
some gaming about maybe just to do with the topics of what we're doing throughout the day. I mean, I have Star Wars games, we got wrestling games, we got there's games of all kinds. There's My Little Pony games, there's Barbie games, you name it.
If you actually do one on wrestling, I'd love to be back for that.
I have an old school N64 with WrestleMania 2000 and No
let's
Mercy.
do this.
Right? That was
Yeah.
before the SmackDown games on the PlayStation.
Yeah.
Those are where it's at. We've played a few times when we living with roommates and stuff. All right. We're gonna shift gears a little bit. I mean, we can still talk about cars. We're gonna do this brief, and we'll start doing this in more shows. But like comic books, there have been some cars featured in comic books. One that sticks in my mind was from Marvel. They did briefly. It was Killdozer.
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 Yeah.
Yep.
Which, ironically enough, there was a news story where a gentleman not too long ago actually built his own Killdozer and just
Yes.
plowed through town because he was.
I believe that was about
because
land rights. If I
Because he had a
remember right.
Killdozer, and why not? If you have a Killdozer,
It's called Killdozer, for God's sake.
it's
Yes.
in the title. It's in
You know.
it's in the title, so you don't have much of a choice. So
Officer, it's what
If
it's
you-
called.
if you get a chance, check out your local comic book shops. You can find a copy of that. I suggest Tardy's Collector's
Tardy's,
Corner in Grand Rapids, Michigan, of course.
My favorite vehicle
Yeah.
that is completely ridiculous in comics, Thanos in his helicopter.
Yeah. Why do you need a
Thanos
helicopter? The Thanos chopter.
Yeah.
Well, they
would
gave
you
Spider-Man a car, and he gets around on webs, and he climbs
Yeah.
walls. Okay, I got a car that can climb walls. Well, that's dumb. Then why
Yeah,
do you
it's
need the
dumb.
powers? I mean, anybody could drive that thing. I mean, in Batmobile, I don't. Spider-Man, I don't think should have named his vehicles like Batman named his. You know what I mean? I got a bat boat. I got a
Yeah,
bat
the
rocket.
spider bug.
I got the spider boat.
Spider bike.
In case he ever gets out to
yeah.
the beach where there's nothing for him to go webbing onto
Yeah.
for any
But
reason.
in the comics, they actually gave Cap Harley Davidson,
Yeah.
An Indian first, and then a
Yeah.
Harley Davidson.
Sure.
Yeah.
Which that's cool.
Well, it's like Robin had his little cycle or Nightwing. You know, he was
Yeah.
more
Right.
stricter to. Not that Batman didn't have room. They just couldn't ride with each other anymore.
Yeah.
After a
Batman
while.
had so many vehicles.
We're also going to
He
start.
has all the toys. So.
Right. We're going to do segments on music coming up. Not today's show. Today we just want to talk about cars.
Yeah.
Get to know Tim here, and make friends and try our runs for co-host, which I think you're okay. You seem alright.
I'll try audition a few more times.
Yeah, we'll see what the
We'll
fans
see
think.
what happens.
And to enjoy the 70s couch.
Yeah, the 70s couch.
70s
I mean,
couch.
It's got a cool hat.
people should tune in for
Yeah.
the couch alone.
Maybe they'll
I
leave
think.
my shtick.
Yes.
I'll just change hats
can't-
every
Yeah, he's gonna make me step up my outfit game. I think that's the problem. But no, we're gonna talk about music. I'm gonna throw together Dillinger's hit list. There's music that people need to know. Kids need to know.
Yes.
There's a lot of people who. I'm not saying your music's terrible, but there's a lot of things that you don't know why you have the music you have. You know what I mean?
Sure.
There's things that are linked and connected to other things musically. Everything's connected some way. You're not going to get a new riff. You're not going to get a new beat. You know what I mean? There's a song that's going to remind you of another song or remind you of another song, and it's all just connectivity at that point. So we'll just get music. Maybe you're going to find stuff you haven't heard. I got a few things I'm passionate about. Punk rock, 70s, early 80s. You know, I do like the techno industrial stuff. I like metal. Pretty much all over the board, but you know, I make my specific favorites when I'm at home cleaning the house. I do like to get down on a lot of punk rock music and things like that. So you know, we'll go over a list of stuff like that. And movies, we're going to talk a lot about movies. So if you ever want to come back and talk about any of these things,
Sure.
you are more than welcome.
Cool.
Roger, you will be back with me. We're going to do this again. And movies, we're going to dig up some VHS movies.
That sounds great.
We're going to hunt and find at least 2 to 3, and we're going to VHS review. That seems fair.
Fast rewind.
Nobody, a little bit.
We're gonna Be Kind Rewind
Be
segment.
kind, rewind, segment. That's not too bad, actually. We may stick with that, but we want to. There's going to be a lot of movies maybe people haven't seen. Maybe they have. Some of them might be straight to video. Some could be DVD only, or we found on the internet. But we're going to find as many.
Black market.
But we want VHS tapes, and we want the worst of the worst, and we're going to review them for you and let you know if they're
Bad VHS is the
bad
best thing
VHS
ever.
reviews, and again, it goes back to the nostalgia purposes and people still who like to collect. And you know, people. I broke out mine and started watching things. I found an old Dead Kennedys video in our basement. I got a copy of Pink Floyd The Wall, a couple Cure videos, all these things that kept
That was a
popping up.
dark
And I'm like,
time in your life.
yeah, it was a lot of crying.
Yeah.
You smell of eyeliner and charms.
a lot of hairspray, a lot of tears. It was kind of a bummer. So we'll get down on that, especially B movies. And I want to thank everybody who helped us out, of course, and the production of our show. Roger, Tim for coming out, Logan stopping by, Rob, Joe, Justin, part of our production crew. Tim, he brought a lot of cool toys. And we also we have a sponsor, not sponsor. We have a sponsor, not sponsor. It is Puck Cider out of Conklin, Michigan, right down the road. It's my good friend, Schaefer Cider Company. You can pick them up in many stores around throughout Grand Rapids. WildTimeFun.com. It's a production crew that's been helping us out with this. Spread the word, okay? Make sure and tell your friends. If you guys like what you hear, we're going to give you facts. We're going to give you information. We're going to do everything in our power that we can to inform you on nerd culture and be here for you every week, if at all possible. What to expect next week? What should we talk about next week? The world is our oyster. We can go comic books.
It'll be fantastic, whatever it is.
It will be fantastic. We'll add a little bit more content as we go, and we just appreciate it right coming out.
Music comment?
Music. We're gonna do some. We got lots of things going on.
Man,
You're always welcome to come
this is
back.
going to be a good thing.
This is gonna be a good couch. We're gonna spend quality time. So spread the word. Make sure and subscribe. Share it to the world, and then we'll be back with you on Storytime with Uncle Punky. It's me. All right. We'll see you.